Cool. Greetings coming from the Schools Division Office, Schools Governance and Operations Division, School Management Monitoring and Evaluation, Division Testing and Evaluation Team. This video is prepared in response to the government directives regarding the international health issue COVID-2019. Hence, the scheduled orientation of examiners on March 16, 2020 as stated in the Division Memorandum Number 89, Series of 2020 is hereby cancelled. Instead, the examiners are advised to report on the day of examination on March 17, 2020 at 6 a.m. in the morning in the respective assigned school or testing center. School heads as chief examiner shall conduct orientation emphasizing important points in the conduct and administration of early language literacy and numeracy assessment. Before I'm going to walk through you in the examiner's manual, I would like to express my gratitude for your committed service as examiners for this ELLNA for this year. The success of this test administration and conduct relies greatly on you. And so, I appeal to you to follow carefully based on the examiner's manual and safeguard the integrity and maintain standard operations on test administration. The ELLNA will be administered to currently enrolled grade 4 learners of identified sampled schools based on the number of test materials allocated. Distribution of test materials will be on March 16, 2020 at 1 to 4 p.m. at the school's division office to the chief examiner or school head. If you have noticed that we are going to distribute the test materials a day before the examination. So you are going to come here or the school heads are advised to come here on March 16 at around 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. in the afternoon for the distribution of materials. So at this point, my dear examiners, I would like to emphasize important points in the examiner's handbook. Now, the test that we are going to administer is called Early Language Literacy and Numeracy Assessment. As you have observed and in the past that we are administering this test to grade 3 learners. But for this time, we are going to administer this to currently enrolled grade 4 learners. Now, it is important that you are going to follow what is stated in the examiner's handbook, because the examiner's handbook is intended to all of those who are involved in the administration of ELLNA, wherein it outlines activities to be undertaken in the various stages in the activity to ensure standardized test administration. Then you have to follow what is stated in the examiner's handbook. Now, if you have noticed that in the handbook, it is stated the workflow of the examiner's work or activity for the whole duration of the test. It emphasizes during what to do on the distribution room, what to do during the examination room, or what to do during the in the distribution room or retrieval phase. In the distribution room, you have to observe 3 things: receive, count, and sign. So first, you are going to receive test booklets and answer sheets. The test booklets will be distributed 2 sets or in 2 sets. The test booklet 1 and test booklet 2 in separate packing. The same thing goes to the answer sheet. Counts the test booklet. You are to count the test booklet from the sealed plastic bags and sign in the form 3. So remember, in the distribution room, you are to receive, count, and sign. In the examination room, there are things that you are going to do. So post, number 1, post the replica of the name grid in the test or in the test coverage. You are to read the general directions carefully and clearly. Distribute the answer sheet followed by the test booklet. Check if name grid or the LRN, mother tongue tested, and other information in the answer sheet are properly shaded. Facilitate in accomplishing the Form 2 by the examinees. Administer the test using examiner's handbook. Keeps custody of the excess test booklet in original plastic bag while the test is in progress and the test items are not read by the room examiner. Now, you have to make sure that the answer sheet for mother tongue are properly labeled and bundled separately in case 2 or more mother tongues were administered in one room. In the case of Zamboanga City Division, we are going to use or administer only one mother tongue based language, which is Chabacano. You are to accomplish Form 1 and 7, retrieve test booklets, check the contents of the ETRE or the examiner's transmittal report envelope, the brown envelope, include their used answer sheet arranged consecutively by examinee number, the time record, Forms 1, 2, and 7. Then the last activity that you are going to do is to seal the ETRE while still in the examination room. This is to safeguard all of the used answer sheets in the examination room. Now, you're about to move in the distribution room. This is now the retrieval phase. There are only two things that you are going to do. Submit the examiner's handbook, sealed ETRE, the brown envelope, and the consecutively arranged test booklets to be properly accounted by the chief examiner or the school principal. In the case of in the absence of the principal concerned can authorize the school testing coordinator to become the chief examiner. A very important reminder to our room examiner is that the psychological climate in the testing room. So it is important, therefore, that you should be very pleasant during the test. Rapport must be established with the examinees because they work better when they are relaxed and properly motivated. So we have to establish the psychological climate in the testing room. The activities pertaining to the test have to do with the following: pre-test, test proper, and post-test. So these are the things that you are going to put and bear into your mind, that there are three stages or the three activities, major activities that you are going to consider: pre-test, test proper, and post-test. A checkbox is provided before the number that indicates a major activity and before the box instructions to be read aloud to the examinees. Now, all of the written words inside the box is the script for the room examiner. All you have to do is to read in toto and read it clearly and aloud to our learners. Now, for the pre-test, for the test materials, you are going to identify the three replica of the name grid and the coverage of the test, which you are going to post it on the board. 2 test booklets or the TBs. TB1 has a green cover for English, Filipino, and Filipino numeracy cover. For test booklet 2, the color of the cover is yellow. That is intended for mother tongue and numeracy mother tongue. For listening guide for the examiner, test English, Filipino, and 18 mother tongue has corresponding listening guide. Now, let's move on to the board work. Write the parts of the test of the board or on a Manila paper, including the time the test has started and the time it will be finished as shown in the handbook. Now, please notice that there are emphasized area for Tagalog mother speakers only, which we in the Zamboanga City Division will not follow because we are assigned or we are only focusing for the mother tongue speakers other than Tagalog only. So meaning to say, we will be using Chabacano, so therefore we will follow the box intended for mother tongue speakers other than Tagalog. So for parts of the test, there are there are two parts of the test. The first part is the filling up of examinee's descriptive questionnaire or the general instructions as part of the general instructions with item numbers 1 to 23. Allotted time is 5 minutes for the general instruction and 25 minutes filling up of EDQ. For part 2, that is on test proper, which is test booklet 1, we will be having the listening test in English 1 to 12, item numbers 1 to 12, 25 minutes, English, item numbers 13 to 45 with 50 minutes, listening test in Filipino 1 to 12, 20 minutes, for Filipino 13 to 45 for 35 minutes. Now, notice that learners will not answer for the Filipino numeracy because it is only intended for Tagalog mother tongue speakers only. Now, time allotment for part 1 is 2 hours and 25 minutes. Now, examinees who are done with booklet 1 can be dismissed for 15 minutes break. Now, make sure that the answer sheet together with the test booklet is or the answer sheet is inserted in the test booklet and it should be in the custody of the room examiner. Now, for test booklet 2, listening test in mother tongue with item numbers 1 to 12 for 20 minutes time allotment. Mother tongue grammar 13 to 45 items for 35 minutes. Mother tongue numeracy 1 to 20 minutes with a time allotment of 20 minutes with a total time allotment of 1 hour and 25 minutes. So, the entire test runs for about 3 hours and 50 minutes for time allotment. Now, for the entrance and seating arrangement, first, you are going to inspect the seating arrangement before instructing the examinees to enter the testing room. There should be 4 rows of armchair. Check if the first and last rows are close to the walls. Number 2, instruct the examinees to line up outside the room. Number 3, call out the names of the examinees by alphabetical order of their surnames. Let the first 4 examinees occupy the first or the front line first, then the second until the line as shown in the examiner's handbook. Now, for this test, we are going to follow 5 rows, 5 lines. Okay? So again, 5 rows, 5 lines. Starting with numbers, line number 1, for line number 1, number 1, 6, 11, 16, 21, and 26. Okay? Now, in no case there or shall there be more than 30 examinees in a room, meaning to say, we only accommodate 30 examiners per room. Now, check again the seating arrangement by calling out the names of the examinees from the first list in Form 1, which is being prepared by the school principal or testing coordinator. Now, in checking the identities of the examinees inside each examination room, by all means, you have to check their ID. Kung walang ID, you can check their notebooks bearing the examinee's name and others, and other way of identifying the learners using the following: Counter-check the identity through ID. If ID is not available, ask the examinee to present a notebook or any belonging bearing his or her name. Now, in the absence of the requirements, whether ID or any belonging, ask his or her respective classmates inside the examination room to attest the identity whether the child is really enrolled in grade 4. Now, instruct them that all belongings shall be placed in front of the room underneath the blackboard except the pencils, sharpeners, and clean sheet of paper. Now, let's move on to the orientation of the examinees. As I've said, my dear examiners, you are going to follow in toto what is written inside the box. Now, after the examinee are seated and all chairs are cleared, you are going to say, "Good morning, everybody. I am blank." You just state your name. Do not prolong your profile. Just state your name. Here are some points to follow while taking the test, and I shall read each one while you listen well. So, read the following slowly and clearly. Now, you are to identify and read 4 mother tongue speakers other than Tagalog. You will answer test booklet 1 with the following sub-test. English, 45 items, and Filipino, 45 items. Now, take note that don't let pupils answer the Filipino numeracy test. Again, don't let the pupils answer the Filipino numeracy test because that is intended for mother tongue, Tagalog mother tongue speakers only. Now, and for test booklet 2, with the following sub-test, mother tongue 45 items and mother tongue numeracy 20 items. So, again, for test booklet 1, we have English 45 items, Filipino 45 items, Filipino numeracy 20 items. Now, again, it is reminded that don't let the pupils answer the Filipino numeracy test because that is intended for Tagalog mother tongue speakers only. Now, do not leave the room while the test is going on. Do not open your test booklet until I tell you. Now, if you have any problems such as missing pages or words that are not printed clearly, so you are going to raise your hand so I can help you. So everything, my dear examiners, please follow what is stated, read clearly and loud that everybody can hear and understand what you are, what the instruction is stating. Now, after you have read the guidelines, allow examinees to go out if necessary before distributing the materials. For what reason? If they wanted to go to CR or if they wanted to drink water, pwede pa. Now, before you are going to distribute the answer sheets and the test booklets. Now, let's go to the distribution or distributing the answer sheets and test booklets. Now, remember this. Cut with a pair of scissors or a blade one end of the plastic bags, one containing the test booklets and the other the answer sheets. Please, it is being reminded during the orientation in the previous conduct of the national test that you are not allowed to throw anything, especially stubs, numbers and serial numbers indicating serial numbers of the test materials. Check their quantity and see to it that these are accurate and not tampered. In a pack, there are 30 test booklets. Each examinee will have 1 test booklet and 1 answer sheet. Keep the batch slip, as I have said, in the original plastic bag. Return everything found, especially the batch slip and the stubs. In the distribution of the TBs or the test booklets and the answer sheet, follow the numbering of the examinees shown in the examiner's manual, or the arrangement or the seating arrangement of 5 rows and 6 lines. Start with the examinee number 1 by giving him or her the test booklets and answer sheet with the lowest serial number, and end with the examinee in number 30, giving him or her the highest serial number. Seats, okay? Seats of late corners or absentees should be left vacant. This is very important, my dear examiners, that seats of latecomers, absentees should be left vacant. Test booklets and answer sheets allocated to the said examinees should be placed inside the original plastic bag by the room examiner pending their approval. However, the test material should not be distributed yet if there are only less than 10 examinees in the room. Okay? So, if there are only less than 10 examinees in the room, then you are not yet to distribute, and check whether if it is only 10 or if it is in the last room or examination room. Now let's move on to the checking the test booklets and answer sheets. Again, you are going to read what is inside the box. After each examinee has received the test booklet and answer sheet, you are to say, everybody, put the answer sheet on your chair or desk. Wait until everybody has done this. Now look at your test booklets. Check the pages one by one. Do you notice any misprint or a missing page? You have to be firm, and you have to move around if it is necessary if you have noticed some problems going on. Now, you are to pause, as I've said, wait until everybody has done this. Then you are to continue. Then say, everybody look at your answer sheet, find out if there are defects. In case there are, you are to call replace it and call your room supervisor or the testing coordinator for replacement. Now, again, be firm and pause. Look for raised hands in the case of test booklets and answer sheets if there are defects and any problem. Now, let's move on to the filling in of information in the answer sheet. Now, the answer sheet is composed of 2 pages, printed back to back, broken down as follows. So, in the front page, page 1 contains the circles for the basic information about the learners. The back page, page 2, contains the examinee's descriptive questionnaire or the EDQ. So, circles number 1 to 22, the back page contains circles 1 to 12 for listening test in English, and 13 to 45 for multiple choice in English, 1 to 12 listening test in Filipino, and 13 to 45 for Filipino grammar, 1 to 20 for Filipino numeracy, 1 to 12 for mother tongue, and 13 to 45 for multiple choice in mother tongue, and 1 to 20 for numeracy in mother tongue. In marking the circle, see to it that the whole space within the circle is fully shaded. Okay? Now, in filling up the name, refer to the enlarged replica on the board. You are to point on the replica posted on the board, and you are going to say, you shall now fill in the information called for in the front page of your answer sheet. Now, you are to say, first of all, print your name on the blank above the name grid. Then print your name inside the box provided for. Point this to the examinees if they do not find the part immediately. Okay? So, please refer to the replica. You are to pause and see to it that everything is in order. Give the examinees enough time to write their names. Then you are going to say, accomplish, or let us accomplish the name grid found on the upper portion of the answer sheet. The basic rules in filling up in the name grid are as follows. Now, you are to write only one letter in each box, starting with the first box at the left. Below letter Z are Enye and dash. Okay. Now, Number 2, enter your last name first, then your first name or names in the allotted box, and finally your middle initial in the last box. If you are a junior, the third, the fourth, etc., write it immediately after your last name, but leave one blank, leave one blank in between. If your last name consists of 2 or more words, such as De La Cruz, De Los Santos, San Ignacio, etc., write your last names leaving a blank box in between. Likewise, if you have 2 first names, write them leaving a blank box in between. Now, if you have long names and or first names, fill your names up to the last box allotted for your first names and last names and first names. So there are 2 columns for the middle initial. If you have 2 more middle names, write only the first letter of the first and second middle names. So example, San Juan or SJ for San Juan. Or if you have 1 middle name, write the first letter in the box at the left. Now, again, you have to be firm, pause, let the examinees follow the instruction. Then you are to say, if you have filled in your surname, first name, and middle name, blacken the circle below each box, which corresponds to the letters written in the box. Now, you can go around and assist the examinees in filling up the name grid and see to it that this is done correctly by the examinees. Now, do not continue unless you have seen that all names are written correctly. Now, let's move on to filling up learner's reference number or LRN. Again, you are going to say and read what is inside the box. Blacken the circle corresponding to your 12-digit LRN. It consists of 12 numbers. Check your LRN given by your class advisor. You are to go around to check that numbers for the LRN are written correctly in the corresponding boxes. Now, in filling up of gender, again, you are going to follow what is stated in the box. Blacken the circle for your gender. Example, if you're a boy, blacken boy. If you're a girl, blacken girl. Filling up of Pantawid Pamilyang Pilipino program, 4Ps. Now, you are to say, blacken the circle for your Pantawid Pamilyang Pilipino program, 4Ps. Example, if your family is a recipient of 4Ps, blacken yes. If not, blacken no. If you do not know, blacken the circle for don't know. Okay? Now, filling up on the question, do you belong to a section with special science curriculum? So you are to say, if you belong to this section, blacken yes. If not, blacken no. Indicate whether you belong to a section with special science curriculum. Now, in filling up of school ID, region, and division codes, you are to say, fill in the name, address, and the school ID of your school. Now, kindly assist them on this part because your school code is composed of region, division, and school ID. For Zamboanga City, our region is I, division is 05. So, region and division code is I05. The school ID is the school ID bearing the name of the school and the ID or the number of the school ID. For the school ID is in numbers only. Okay? Now, you are to refer to your school code in the allocation of your test materials. Write your school code in grade 4. One letter or number to a box. Check your school code against the school code written on the board. Now, blacken the circles that are the same as the letters or numbers you have written in the boxes. You can go around, my dear examiners, to check if the school code is written correctly. Write also your school ID when you were in grade 3 if you're a transferee from other schools. Now, if you were in this school in grade 3, your school ID is the same as grade 4. Filling up of final grade in grade 3. Now, blacken the circles that tell your final rating in English, Filipino, and mother tongue, and math. Example, if your grade in English is 90, blacken 9 in the first column and 0 in the second column. Filling up, how many are you in your classroom or section? So blacken the circles that tell about the number of pupils in your regular class or section. Example, if you are 65, kung kayo ay 65 in your regular class or section, blacken 6 in the first column and 5 in the second column. Lead them to the correct number. Be sure that you have verified this, my dear examiners. Now, in providing this data, it would be very facilitative if the school principal will do the strategized mechanism, providing our examinees the needed data such as the LRN, the school code, the school ID, and the regional and division code written in their notebook already, so that it would be easy for the examiners, or examinees and the examiners to check what is written in the and filled up in the EDQ. Okay, now in filling up the birth date. The birth date is specifically given in the form of month, day, year. Example, January 6, 1999. So, blacken for the month. Blacken the circle corresponding to the month of birth, which is January. Day, 2 columns are allotted for the day, although 1 circle in each column is blackened. The range is from 0 to 31. Days ranging from 1 to 9 are entered as 01 to 09. So blacken 0 in the first column and 6 in the second column. For the year, only the last 2 digits of the year of birth are entered. Blacken 9 in the first column and 9 in the second column. That is for the birth date. Now, in filling up of age, the examinees will only blacken the circle that corresponds to the age or to the examinee's age. Example, if you have 8 years old, blacken 0 in the first column and 8 in the second column. Now, in filling up the question, did you complete grade 3 in school year 2016-2017? Now, you are to guide. Blacken the circle that corresponds if you are grade 3 completer for school year 2016-2017. Example, if you are able to finish grade 3 for school year 2016-17, blacken yes. If not, blacken no. Now, you may translate and emphasize what is written in the box. However, do not deviate from the instruction. So you may translate it in Toto so that you are going to give instructions clearly. You may translate it in Tagalog or in Chavacano, but you have to read first what is stated in the box. Filling up of elementary school type. Blacken the circle that corresponds to the type of elementary school you are currently enrolled. Choose among from the 4 types and shade of the corresponding circle. So, writing the signature at the back of the answer sheet. Now, you are going to say, sign your signature or sign your name and signature on the space provided on the back page of your answer sheet after reading the statement, and make sure you understood what it means. Okay? Now, writing the name of school for grade 3 and 4. Write the name of your school on the space provided for. Now, give the examinees enough time to do this. Check that each examinee does this correctly. Now check and double check that all examinees have shaded the correct circles pertaining to the name grid and all the other information. Now you can go around and inspect each examinee's answer sheet. So this is very, very important. Now you may go now to the test proper. Now, administering part 1. Reading the directions. Now, you are going to say what is follow and read what is stated inside the box. Everybody, open your test booklets, read silently with understanding the direction and the examples. Now, part 1 is administering the examinee's descriptive questionnaire. You are to say, part 1, the examinee's descriptive questionnaire is not a test. It consists of 22 items or 23 items on some information you are to give answers. After each item on your answer sheet, shade the circle on the letter of your chosen answer. Do not leave any item unanswered. Part 1 will last for 25 minutes. Write your answers for this part on the upper portion of the back page of the answer sheet. You are to stay firm. You say, everybody, open your test booklets to the EDQ. Show them the EDQ portion. And you are to say, ready, and begin. Now, in accomplishing the seat plan, or which we call the BEA Form 2. Now, while the examinees are answering the EDQ, each examinee will write his or her name and test booklet serial number on the seat plan. Fill in the region, division, school name, address, and date of examination and room number. Now, you are going to pass around the seat plan. Administering the part 2 or the test proper. Explaining the back page of answer sheet and the test booklets to be administered. Now, after 5 minutes, you are to say, let's look at the back page. Notice that there are 7 columns where to blacken your answers. First column is for the mother tongue to be tested. The second is for examiner's descriptive questionnaire. The third column is for English. The fourth column is for Filipino. The fifth column is for the Filipino numeracy, which will only be answered by the Tagalog mother tongue speaker. So take note of this. The sixth column is for the mother tongue, and the last column is for the numeracy mother tongue. Now, in the first column, you are required to blacken and the corresponding circle in the mother tongue to be tested. After each item, shade the circle of the letter of your chosen answer. Although there are 4 circles for the answers to each item, shade only 1 circle for your answer. If you shade 2 circles, the machine will read this as wrong answer. Do not leave any item unanswered. For booklet 1, the examiner will read the English listening guide up to item 12 only. Now, the examinees will continue answering from numbers 13 to 45. Okay? Now, after the English test, examiner gets the Filipino listening guide and reads up to item 12 only. Now, where will you find the listening guide? It is already stated, or it is together with the test materials distributed to you. Now, the examinees will continue answering from numbers 13 to 45. After the Filipino test, the examinees will continue answering the Filipino numeracy test from numbers 1 to 20. Now, remember that this is for Tagalog mother tongue speakers only. Please emphasize this. Record on the board the time started and the time to end this test. Go around and see to it that the examinee shaded the correct part of the test after the allotted time for test booklet 1. You are to say, I will go around I will go around to collect your test booklet 1 or test booklets 1. For those who will take test booklet 2, leave your answer sheet under your seat and take your snacks. Now, you are to dismiss the examinees who will not take test booklet 2 in their answer sheet. Okay? Or collect their answer sheet. We're about to continue the test. The test will end at point to the written time to end on the board. Emphasize again what is the time to start and time to end. For test booklet 2, the examiner will read the mother tongue listening guide, again up to item number 12 only. Afterwards, the examinee will continue answering from numbers 13 to 45. After the mother tongue test, the examinees will continue answering the mother tongue numeracy test from numbers 1 to 20. Now, emphasize this, my dear examiners, that you are to go around and see to it that the examinees are recording their answers properly. Note on the board the item to end. The indicated time to end is the time started, is from the time started, excluding the 15 minutes snack break. So, you are to say, everybody, stop writing. I will give you 5 minutes to inspect your answer sheets. Make sure your erasures, if any, are clean. See to it that the circle of your answer is shaded properly. The circle should have uniform shading. Be sure that only one circle is shaded from each item. Again, you are to go around to make sure that the examinees are following this instruction. After inspection has been done, then you are to say, I will go around to collect your test booklets and answer sheet. Again, my dear examinees, it is you who are going to go around and collect the test booklets and answer sheet. Okay? Now, note that the unused scannable answer sheet shall be collected by the room supervisor or chief examiner at the time when the examinee or examinees are answering the last sub-test. Likewise, the filling out of the remaining data in Form 3 should be done at this time. Okay. So, collect and count all used and unused test booklets and answer sheets, retrieve, and place these in the original plastic box. Make sure that all materials has been or have been retrieved. In case a test booklet is missing, expend all means to find it. Dismiss examinees only after accounting these test materials. Now, in dismissing the examinees, after all materials are accounted for, then you are to say, we are through with the test. You may now go out quietly in single file, or you are going to dismiss them by row. For post-test, preparing the reports and sealing the etre or the brown envelope. Now, you are going to do the following activities. First, accomplish Form 7, the room examiner's test administration evaluation report, which includes the narrative report. Copy from the board the time record report on test administration and indicate in the etre the number of registrants and the number of actual examinees. Now, what are the things that you are going to place in the etre or examiner's transmittal report envelope? Number 1, time record report. Number 2, used answer sheets arranged consecutively by examinee number placed in original plastic bag. If there are unused, you are going to put it outside and submit it to the chief examiner upon retrieval. 1 copy of BEA Forms 1 and 2. Forms 1 and 2 is back-to-back and Form 7. Now, you are to seal the etre with the DepEd BEA paper seal while still inside the examination room. Turning over of materials to the chief examiner or to the principal. Turn over to the chief examiner the following materials. Number 1, sealed etre with its contents. Make sure that you already sealed inside the examination room the brown envelope or the etre. Used and unused test booklets assembled together and arranged consecutively by serial numbers packed in their original plastic bags together with retaining the batch slip inside the plastic bag. Then, you are to return the examiner's handbook. In accounting of materials by the chief examiner. So this is for our school heads and this is for our chief examiner. Please observe the following. You are to collect and account all etres or examinees retrieval, examinees transmittal report envelope, arrange and bundles them accordingly, seeing to it that the number of etres tallies with the number of testing rooms. If you have 4 testing rooms, then definitely you will have 4 envelopes to be collected. A report on the number of etres should be accompany the bundle or should accompany the bundle. You are to count the test booklets per pack retrieved from each examiner with the assistance of the room supervisor if there's any. For this purpose, we only assign room supervisors with 10 room or minimum of 10 examination room. The open end of the plastic bag must be resealed by tape or stapler. Place inside the set tray or the chief examiner's transmittal report envelope, the white one, the following materials after accomplishing the chief examiner's transmittal report. There are only 4 things to be placed there. In the white envelope or the set tray, place number 1, unused answer sheets with serial numbers arranged consecutively. BEA Form 3 or the test materials accounting form where the examiner signed during the distribution and retrieval. BEA Form 4, Chief Examiner's Report Form, and the school header which must be accomplished by the Chief Examiner or the school principal. Instructions to the Chief Examiner and the Division Testing Coordinator relative to Form 5 and 6. Now, this is for us to be reminded that we are to separate the two Forms 5 and 6 by cutting the perforated lines, filling out the data needed in both forms, and this form should be submitted to the DTC and not placed inside the set tray. So again, to our dear examiners, Chief Examiners, the Forms 5 and 6 must not be included in the set tray. You are going to return that to us during the retrieval right after the test by the time you are going to come here at the division office. Okay? So, for packing of the test materials, as I've said, please return as it is, especially the batch slip, because everything is very important in tracking down all or accounting all of our test materials, both the answer sheet and test booklets. So bundles of the used and unused test booklets sealed in plastic bags and placed in the original boxes. For BEA Form 5, test booklets quantity and completeness verification sheet to be inserted in box number 1 on top of the test booklets, and bundles of set trays placed in the original boxes. For BEA Form 6, this is for the answer sheet accountability or quantity and completeness verification sheet to be inserted on the first box of the answer sheet. Now, the examiner's handbook counted and ready for future use. This will be retained at the division office and this will be taken charge by our office. The enlarged replica of the name grid shall be retained in the schools or the testing centers ready for future use for some dry run purposes. Okay, so to the division examination committee, we are reminded that this examiner's handbook should be stored at the school's division office after the test for our future use. So these are the reminders or important points to consider during the conduct and administration of the early language literacy and numeracy assessment. Now, other important things for our dear examiners to consider. Number one, the use of cell phone. By the time we are going to receive the test materials, we are obliged and we are required to turn off our cell phones or put in silent mode and do not entertain anymore during the test conduct, because we are already in the process of the test administration and conduct. Now, you are not allowed to take photos, especially on the answer sheet and test booklets. Whether you are going to take selfies inside the examination room is not allowed. We are there to serve and to observe the standardized operations of this exam. Now, we are reminded, attached in the examiner's handbook, the section 13, breach of security in national examination and corresponding sanctions. So, please observe all of this, my dear examiners, and hopefully we are going to have a smooth conduct and administration of our early language literacy and numeracy assessment. And for that, I hope this video will be of great help to each and every one of you. Again, this video replaces the scheduled orientation on March 16, 2020. Instead, we are going to have the distribution of materials in the afternoon at the school's division office at around 1 to 4 in the afternoon. Muchas gracias. This is your division testing officer, Vinny Gerard Elicano. Anything that you would like to ask, and any queries that you would like to ask, please don't hesitate to message me in our workplace or in our Facebook page. Muchas gracias and have a great day.